yɛda mu nyinaa mo ase sɛ ma bɛka yɛn ho na ɛnɛ da yi no yɛsua adeɛ na adeɛ baako kɛse a mepɛ sɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛte aseɛ no before a yɛbɛhwɛ the causes of mental health. Something interesting to note. Depression is one of the most prevalent mental health conditions in the United States. So, over mental health and mental illness, I no adeɛ baako a affect nipa paa no depression. In 2020, it was estimated at 14.8 million ɛwɔ America between the ages of 18 and older, and in depression. About 4.1 million people are almost adolescents, aged between 12 to 17, and in a major depressive disorder in the last year. Now, there is one interesting fact I want everybody to understand. Money and material wealth have very little impact on our happiness. Sometimes, na adesuafoɔ ne research akyerɛ ma mmienu sɛ sika ne ahonya no, it has very little on our happiness. Ɛwɔ mu sɛ yɛnya sika we get comfortable there, but ɔsɛ sika any material wealth, it does not bring happiness. A worldwide study found that stable mental health was such a key contributor to life satisfaction, than that abolishing depression and anxiety would be 4 times more effective at improving people's overall happiness than so being sika. And to say so be anxiety and depression. Na se ubweni pakrono man hotono. It is 4 times more better than so bema ubi sika. The first say here will be no ne how na mania wokom no say nipa kro no eda so wo bibi to say anxiety and depression and as a mental health problem, it is very much better. So besasa yare no ama ne free honum. It's say bra be no sa no the person gets more happier than so be man sika any ahunyade no nti bra ye sua de sua no mesra mo ma nyina yen hye no so afei so say anxiety disorder is the most common mental health issue that affects 40 million Americans. It's 19.1% of American population, of about 40 million people. Wɔn nyinaa no ɛwɔ anxiety disorders. Nti ade a mental health issue ɛyɛ ade a ɛyɛ ade a ɛho hia wɔsɛ ɛka ho asɛm esan sɛ it affects a lot of people. Nipa bebree wɔn a they are going through a lot about mental health issues a ɛhyehyɛ wɔn ho a most of them no wɔn nka ho asɛm. Na deɛ mepɛ sɛ yɛn nyinaa te aseɛ no sɛ people wɔn mental health issues a wɔn mpɛ ho asɛm nka no, they are 2 times more higher than so wɔn benya heart problems. There's 40% chance will be depression or be developing cardiac problems, hypertension, or be stroke, diabetes, metabolic syndromes, or be obese. And until so honor na say any mental health issues be a hour and na hono mo friend near grow say there can be other comorbid problems a bit me about life mo ntimi stra mo enhye no so na o say nipa or more mental health issues no 34.5% of them also have problems with alcohol and drugs. And until mention so most of the people are more mental health issues and also about 6.9% of US population or muntimi nya adwuma. So our US unemployment rate is around 4.3%. But or more mental health issues, about 6.9% of the people, and yeah, they so mutimi kokoye adwuma because of mental illness or mukomuno. And I think so high school students that report symptoms of depression. Most of the time, they are 2 times likely so dropping out of school. And want to say your baby go through problems be about mental health. I'm and yes, I will be one in a school about students of ages between 6 to 17 years, almost emotional and behavior problems, they are 2 times more likely see be repeat or more class. It's answer omunya adwene mu fine emfa nsua de no ntimi sremo awofo ene adofo yenuma yehia mu ha nyina no. If somebody is going through mental health challenges, misremo muma ye mo nipa kro isanse they might go through other stuff ka ho because of fire bebre de abrom so de no amekan no say obi o mental health challenges they live between 18 to 25 years less. Nyame am obi 70 years. Now they have said with 70 years no now will be a live about 18 to 25 years less, all because or mental health condition or because for other comorbid problems, hypertension, blood pressure, and then I say for maneba be nipa kro enunti we need to help them out. Who will be our mental health challenges enro any therapy bebre or honomwa they can go through it. Amo mo ho atom anu ntimi sremo adofo mo maye nyina ye mmoa so the bear obi bia obehu say the person is going through mental health challenges no ye betimi aboa o afei a kwan be so obi o mental health challenges I said the medical kind what really happens. Yeah, because a mental illness. Mental illness is affects a person thinking, their feeling, their mood, their behavior are disrupted, impacting their ability to cope with daily life and how they relate to others. It will be beer or mental health problems, biano, or more feelings, no more mood, and no more thinking, a quite more fast or more no has been affected. So the no make can say most of the time they have no insight because of a nearby or muni no they have little insight as to what is going on in their body. And until say obi who am sometimes they might think they are fine. Most of the time, Obeka say I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with me. Nanso no obi no na ekofa or how ne amani bebre and their brain ipakro. I think usually no mental illness no it starts from the brain. There are neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemicals. They are chemical messengers. And on a boa brain no sending messages different parts of the brain. And until so honor na say say person nantia neurotransmitter no essence woman messengers ni or tumrika or catch brain no part of the brain say you want to walk na boa no etimi anante afei so pese asemi wo pese odwene asem ho the neurotransmitters no they help transmit na boa mo etimi think straight afei you go through emotions ebi o nema bi ho no ma obi aka asem bi o so sere these are all the work of the neurotransmitter messengers or more and any brain no several parts of your brain your cells no the cells in the brain communicate so the bear ubenya ubetimi go about your daily process even wo person home kra neurotransmitters no na dwuma no na transmitted those impulses no to several parts of your body the respiratory center of your brain no catch and say I will say nipa we wo home there is too much oxygen and I said there is less oxygen into mane home ye said obey okay those neurotransmitters no bra ubenya mental health issues no there is an imbalance before neurotransmitters and I say those messengers no bitimi ayo omedwuma yie no there are hormones be a boa mutimi travel around your brain it me transmit any money those hormones no any dopamine it be the dopamine serotonin norepinephrine those hormones no and a boa nipa more wadwene no man it me function ye so when your mental health problems it is either say those hormones no entimi moa neurotransmitters no mo ntimi nyoma adwuma yi and because of that no your mood is affected afei your chances of experiencing pleasure so benye nije is affected you cannot focus you have no motivation to do anything what you want bibia nkenya say so kokoye bibia it sounds those stuff are not really working right so your brain is really not functioning okay and now you'll be going through several stuff and when your serotonin level is very lower you get depressed sometimes if it is very high you get very anxious so dopamine level very low or higher you can be you don't feel all right you bibia and counsel kokoye bibia sometimes you become addicted to something and I say you get schizophrenia and unti a idea and I think so where epinephrine level in your system no is either it makes you fatigue time be as what brain so you become very hyperactive and then maybe I answer say yeah baby no draw maybe any so no then you keep doing it a idea affect the brain and in a matter of mental illness usually it happens through the brain is not functioning right and say a brain no be okay na bit me function okay no afei you begin to act right a dear be na affect brain no enunti edru bra bi a brain no entimi and function okay eno ya nema bi a ya de se ehu hia pɛ na before me dru honom no pese me ka ade kakra bi nipa bia no yadwene the brain no is divided into two parts you the left hemisphere and then the right part say oh honom the right part no say when sanify to me adwuma is because your left brain is working very well and I say when sabenkum so to me adwuma e che say any wo nan nifa no nyina no to me adwuma e che say your right brain is working very well no ntina so obi nya stroke baby a obi nya stroke no so when stroke no or left side your right side is paralyzed it's say the left side controls your right side and your right side control your left side so na nyame ye no na sa hemisphere no mienu no ya sa chichemu your four parts na four parts no your frontal lobe no eho ena baby ho no me friend executive functioning eho eno ne ma utimi dwene yie eno na utimi make judgments eno ne timi boa ma utimi sua de se wotena se usua de teacher ni kire bia no utimi ti ase yie eno nti most of the time enkwada eya na hu so omaye omuntimi sua de ye kire mu bibia ya no mu hunu no eya na most of the time no their frontal brain is affected eno nti se ebra obetimi aboa no na enema bia ohia no most of the time ya na happen during childbirth and I say bia ya na time oba akwara wone maame yam no ntina say oba nyemu bia the first and the second trimester you say it is the time of say organs or major organs ni nyina na develop nti niema bebre ho no ma untimi nom nsa even enro bebre ho no ma ya ma wonnom at that stage no sometimes Thailand or cracker ho at the stage of some stage of your pregnancy you better to say you cannot take Tylenol and as I be proofing at this time and unti saa nneɛma no nyinaa no because your brain is forming or yɛn pɛ sɛ nneɛma bi abɛkɔ count brain no sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a executive functioning no it's not going to function right and yes sir you cannot function okay and unti sɛ brain no ɛyɛ adwuma okay there is everything is also working okay with you and unti ɛyɛ na ho hia sɛ yɛbɛboa ma brain no ɛtumi ahyehyɛ yie apart from frontal lobe no your temporal lobe no and so it take care of kwan a wobɛte asɛm da ne da nyinaa ɛno nti sɛ saa nneɛma no nyinaa no sɛ wotumi te asɛm alright sɛ obi wɔ hɔnom na sɛ ebi a yɛbɛwo no anaasɛ wɔnyini no nyinaa no ɛduru baabi na sɛ wɔnte asɛm yi a most of the time no yɛana ne temporal lobe no is affected ntumi ɛnyɛ adwuma yie afei yɛfiri hɔnom a yɛwɔ another lobe nso a ɛcontrol kwan a yɛfa so hunu adeɛ yɛfrɛ no occipital lobe ɛwɔ yɛ ti kɔ ɛno nti na sometimes obi ka sɛ obi tumi de adeɛ bɔ obi ati kɔ ɛsɛ n'ani afira because lobe no a take care of w'ani no ɛwɔ saa occipital lobe ɛwɔ w'ati kɔ hɔnom ɛno nti we always have to make sure say you are protecting every part of your brain ɛno nti na sɛ yɛwɔ akwadaa foforɔ a yɛka kyerɛ sɛ baabi ani hɔnom a ɛwɔ sɛ ɔhwɛ ne yie hwɛ ne ti yie ɛsiane sɛ ne ti ɛtaa bobɔ fam wahwɛ yɛ ɔbɛnyini no na wanya problems bebree bia na lobes no ayɛ affected na akɔfa ɔhaw ne amanneɛ bebree de abrɛ no ɛno nti during the time of mental illness no most of the time no, it is one of these lobes sometimes several of these lobes is affected na afei na akɔmo amwanya mental problems adane da nyinaa no yɛkom no ɛno nti mesrɛ mo moma yɛ nyinaa yɛnhyɛ no nso your brain is very very important when we are talking about mental illness ɛno nti sɛ wɔwɔ hɔ nom a mesrɛ wo sɛ ɛtɔ berɛ bi a ɛduru baabi na yɛsɛ woduru baabi na sɛ wonyini a woyɛ pani anaasɛ wɔwɔ hɔ nom a na sɛ worɛ fi nneɛma ntɛntɛm a mesrɛ wo hyɛ aseɛ sɛ wobɛkenkan adeɛ kan nneɛma bebree yerɛ ho get enough sleep and read a lot. A bra be reading a lot, it helps you a lot. So the bear will be kai and near be brain ma or fifina a boy regenerative brain. No. Sometimes yani a say brain or it drew baby, it doesn't grow anymore. And I say it does not regenerate itself. And you know, correct. The brain regenerates itself all the time. So when you homa brain edumaya, it regenerates itself. Time beyond you look sharp. You can be 90 years, you'll be able to remember everything. Bibia wunim bia no bekai. But when your brain is dormant, so for what you know any bibia, time bia no why a doll, most of the time no, you forget a lot. And untino and pennyful way mono, ade baako ehu hia pa na mesra mo ebra wo nyini kɔ w'anim no nyinaa yɛn nyinaa mama yɛnyere ho no yɛn read. Once you read a lot, your brain regenerates itself and your brain will always be sharper. Time bia no ɛbɛyɛ nkrɔfo nwanwa, you might be 95 na be ukai bibia na you bia nwanwa say, how do you remember everything? Because you're using the brain. Ade baako ehu hia pa nyame yɛ brain no, once you keep using it, you become more brighter. And until students are once they keep learning, no time bia no aben, time bia or sharp, time bia wo nimniema bebre. Say the brain is always active. So let us keep our brain active. Say you might be a honoma. They're going through mental health challenges or school, bebre or honoma. Most of the time, yeah, no, the best way to go. Many books no nsuade insa say the tablets ne niema be mo no mo books be brave mo let them read a lot ebra wo reading now busa no questions about the things that they are reading. It keeps them very sharp, it keeps the brain working. Afi wo be hunu no na e bia wo ba na yemfa no say bi o ye B+ student no na ba be A student. It sounds like the brain is sharp all the time. It misramo mo ma yenyu so your brain no pa yi na ye moa so the be your brain no ebetimi akipu sharp. And right now will be busa say a mental illness, is it genetic? Can you transfer it from somebody to somebody? I feel my a mental illness if I so a buy and so it sounds here who and near my course will ni partner junimunano a cocofa mental illness ebano. I did the kind pie genetics. I did yare bit to say mental illness bit to say schizophrenia, bipolar, need depression. It runs in families. Will be beer of genetic predisposition and no can say so schizophrenia or depression. You are 4 times and I say abia mommy and now papa went through depression. You are 4 times more likely, 50% more likely so also be developing depression maybe because it runs into the family. Stuff like schizophrenia is the same thing, bipolar disorders the same thing. Once it runs into the family, you have a higher probability. And not just a chinchine bi, but you have a higher probability say it's more like so be high blood pressure. So mommy and now papa or high blood pressure. You also have a high percentage of getting it. But so shall brasu ye now the D now to me exercise. You might beat it. And until the same thing so and a mental health and a mental illness and so a tear. A bra, even though genetics might not be on your side, once you keep you wobɛhwɛ wo ho so yie no na woma nneɛma bebree and stress your life too much no sometimes it is very hard sɛ wobɛnya bi nansɛn na maame baako a ɛne ne yɛ adwuma na ɔka kyerɛ yɛ sɛ ne ba baako develop schizophrenia na kwan ɔfa so develop schizophrenia na ne ba no was an A student na wawie high school ɔba abɛkɔ college wanya very good school a ɔba abɛkɔ na ɔkɔdii ne namfofoɔ bi akyi. He smoked just one piece of almost friend a blunt, one blunt of marijuana. The kid is now when you're schizophrenia or abandoned school. There is nothing. In no way we are seeing now. They have tried. I feel no made then edna almost try no because he no or no. I said there is nothing wrong with him. They had a genetic predisposition. Na a idea say or say na na bi na owobi. I wear busianum and he triggered the schizophrenia. And I think so no be sometimes we can bring it upon ourselves even though we have genetic predisposition. You bit me boy ho ban a ebia yenya say ebia nkada no wan kwankonom sa ne ma na isan say the life ni nyina no wadu stage obit me schizophrenia ne dem usually no a member between the ages of 25 to 35, that's where you develop schizophrenia and until no wadu sa stage ne dem. But say a brand no caution a brasu ye no yere no hwe ne brasu ye a ebia nko anu sa level no. That is why ye nyina no ye akwanrefue na ASD fue no ya ba bedru hanom no On Friday, I will show you an interesting research I will be here among Adventists. How we use drugs now. It is so interesting. And sometimes I looked at the research and it's so sad also. Say SD phobia, say they know the principle, just say my you say, but sometimes as much as 56% of the people they almost say they smoke in the church. Oh, it's so there, and the research was done in Ghana. And you say be a brofumu, it was done in Ghana. You know Ghana fumu, and then the pakroko yes our research and it's there. Sometimes a name be a yeah, and a cocofa those things no ede by a brabum. So we need to be very careful. And ema ye diko ye ni peduemu, and ema yeah. Don't let stuff stress you too much. It's on stress, Sometimes there is nothing you can do about those stress. O stress who be brea. If you have a genetic predisposition, one here beko fiber. I feel the second part, a brain chemistry and function. I know na medical church no say neurotransmitters ain't me near you may Emma chemicals na yes serotonin ni dopamine M1 to me and transmitting your mind for brain no more. It brings imbalances in your brain. I feel a mental health disorders at the ebro. Afei deɛ ɛtɔ so mmiɛnsa yɛ brain injury anaasɛ TBIs obi wɔ hɔnom a na wanya accident na ne ti akɔbɔ baabi na wampɛ ho asɛm anka usually it can lead you to mental illness ɛsiane sɛ ebia na nneɛma bi akɔ so wɔ w'adwene no mu a wampɛ ho asɛm anka ɛno nti it has affected the balance of your brain ɛno nti ebetumi akɔ akɔfa saa nneɛma no nyinaa ba ɛno nti sɛ wowɔ hɔnom na sɛ wonya any physical problem bi a please seek help moma yɛnkɔ na yɛnkɔ yɛwɔ doctors wɔ yɛtra yɛyie yɛbɛpie baabi a the health system is the best in the whole world. American health system is the best in the whole world. And only ade baako a the best pa we are seeing now. Yan so no sense ye adwuma once a ye even so ni insurance kra akwa be hell. And unto Mr. Mo say yare and say you go through something. Don't sit down now on ka say we the enya hwe. Ade enya hwe no wan hwe a na akwa akwa ye so hwe. Afi prenatal exposure ebra mamefoɔ nyem no usually no your money be breed they are exposed to viruses, toxins, alcohol, any drugs ebi a maame no ebe use anaasɛ ombenya saa infections no ɛbra a ɔmo develop no saa infections no can predispose them into mental illness ɛno nti ɔbaa biara no sɛ wonyem a mesrɛ wo a ɛyɛ no ahwɛ wo nso yie for the sake of your baby ɛne ne health nti no mesrɛ time bi a ɔsɔ kɔ hospital biara no ɛwɔ sɛ ɔkɔ nnura ɛni sɛ wonom no titiri yɛnom de ebia yɛnkɔnom aduro bia but nneɛma bi nnuro bi te sɛ even kura no wobɛnom Tylenol anaa ibuprofen a you need to ask yɛka kyerɛ sɛ nom a mesrɛ nkɔnkɔnom woanhwɛ a it can bring ɛbɛtumi akɔ akɔfa ɔhaw ɛde abrɛ abɔfra ketewa no nti mesrɛ mo moma yɛnhyɛ no nso afei nipa a ɔmo poor coping mechanisms nipa bebree hɔ nom a when they go through stress ɔmo hwere ɔmo adwuma anaasɛ asɛm kɛseɛ bi to no yɛsɛ obi afiri mu ɛwɔ ne fie anaasɛ an important person bi ɔbɛn no paa bi a wakɔ amanneɛ bi mu they cannot cope saa nneɛma no nyinaa no usually a lot of people getting themselves into mental illness because they find it so hard to cope. The stress na is so hard to cope with. And to brass, sometimes because they have some of them have genetic predisposition and I say it's said the body need to mean cope with sometimes they find themselves going through depression. Some of them go through bipolar. Even some of them get psychosis because the stress is too much on them and let us try and cope so that no remedy can kind let us be each other's keeper it really helps a lot say in mental illness but one thing also that helps a lot and it's say you will be a honoma time beyond the person got our back ebra wo call how ne amane mu no wo bi a obetime ne na discuss ebra wo call how ne amane titru e ma no de ye wo mutime come asempa wo na mema no ye na ya na most of the time eno nti mental illness no most of them no sometimes it affects more men than women. It's answer man no timi come asem feel free e mema no so de ye de ntema no be hye mu saa afei no e bedru ba bi no na stress no a overcome it will become so overwhelmed when you better no now you're getting a mental breakdown and into misramo say wo nipa bi a wo gini dia you can confide or your baware for na be maware for when you're going through stuff please share with your spouse it's answer it helps a lot it relieves you of all the burdens ebi onuma wo catch nipa kron is not going to solve the problem but it relieves you of your kind of saying or how any amane na nka e de wobekuma wobeye ho e de atena ho no it helps you a lot ubon say e bra be cancel na wie no it's like about 70% every umuko and then you feel very much okay and until as a for money adofo amohyemu ha when somebody confides in you so obi jiwudi no ka asem bia de kyerɛw please ɛyɛ moma yɛnyi nipa kroma esan sɛ no ne ade kɛseɛ paa enipa bebree ntimi confide with a lot of people because ɔkɔ ka asem yi de akyerɛ nipa yi no osuro sɛ ɛdeɛn ɛna nipa no nso kwakɔ ka kyerɛ obi sɛ de no amekan no wanhwe yi a ɔte hɔ nom a na ɔka kyerɛ nsɛ wei ɔno ana bɛka kyerɛ m sɛ wabɔ me nnura wɔnom koraa nyɛ asɛm ketewa nti wokɔka no asɛm yi ma momfa no asɛm nyɛ asɛm because asom asi deɛ wabɔ dam ɔho ɛnso na wabɛka no asɛm ebi a wɔgye wo di paa na ɔba bɛka asɛm na ɔde akyerɛw ɛtumi mesrɛ mo sɛ wowɔ adamfoɔ bi na wɔgye wo di na nneɛma bi wɔ hɔnom a ɛha no na wɔne wɔba bɛdiscuss aboa no na ɛkyerɛ no deɛ ɔnyɛ nti na most of the time no yɛa na nipa bebree nka ɔm asɛm no mesrɛ mo moma yɛnhyɛ our burden sɛ wontumi a ɛna meka no the hospitals are there we have several therapists ɔhɔnom a ɔbɛkyerɛw ɔno deɛ wonim no baabi a wɔyɛ professional ɔno bɛtena ase ɔbɛkyerɛkyerɛw ɛnneɛma a wokɔ mu nyinaa sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a you can overcome your stress ɛsiane sɛ too much stress can put too much problems on you even living in big cities yɛte city ɛte sɛ New York City a yɛte yi no ɛno nko ayɛ stressful enough dede bebree a ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ baabi a yɛwɔ no ne nneɛma bebree wodi mmirika da biara nɔpɛ biara wokɔpɛ bus wokɔfa train ɛde akɔ adwuma no bi to gya wo na wɔhwɛ time nso wayɛ late all those things are very stressful the life itself no very stressful living in big cities and nipa bebree wɔ big cities they suffer a lot from depression and anxieties bebree because of baby ɔmo tintra no ɛno nti mesrɛ mo the best way nipa koro no betumi akopo no ebia na nadamfo no yaba asɔre wokɔ asɔre a yakasa obi ho so obi akra make it an effort so woba asɔre a ebia nipa bɛ 5 and 6 there wɔn ba kɔdi nkɔmɔ ne bi di na brabo mu nkɔmɔ ama nipa koro nso ɛho atumi asisi no nso it is the greatest therapy you can use to help somebody ɛno nti yɛyɛ kristofo yi no moma yɛmmoa boa yɛn ho obi wɔ hɔnom a week no nyinaa no apart from Saturday na ɛba bɛhyia asɔre no deɛ aka nyinaa no so ɔkɔ a obie ne hɔnom a ɔne ne kɔ akɔkasa wɔ baabi a it is him his phone and the walls a ebi a 4 walls a wɔhyɛ mu ɛne adwuma a ɔkɔ akɔyɛ moma yɛmmoaboa yɛn ho na yɛn distress yɛn ho ɛsiane sɛ it is one of the best ways a yɛtumi de boa relieve somebody from mental illness ɛno nti mesrɛ mo moma yɛnhyɛ ne nso afei nso nneɛma bi cognitive problems obi wɔ hɔnom a constantly da biara wɔnwene adwene pa da biara yɛne sɛ biribi bɛto no biribi bɛsi wɔ n'akwan mu those people no ɛsiane sɛ time biara no all negative thinking ɛwɔ no so nti no consistently they become anxious sometimes they become very depressed because of nneɛma a ɛne adwene a wɔdwene ɛwɔ ne tirim no wayɛ n'adwene sɛ mekɔ ade no wahwe yi a adwuma yi koraa no mewɔ hɔ no obi anka sɛ ɔbɛyi n'adi ne hyɛ ne tirim adwuma yi mi kɔ nyinaa no na sɛ yiyi m'adi koraa mɛnda adwuma yi nso obi anyi w'adi ɛnso ne hyɛ ne tirim consistently sɛ adwuma no wahwe yɛ bɛyi n'adi ɔho afei yɛnya kɔyi n'adi afei wɔsɛ manka na ayɛ ne den sɛ ɔbɛkɔ hwɛ adwuma foforɔ Oh, and untimi sramo so honoma have positive thinking. Ye Christopher no moma yenwina adwene pa emfa ye ankasa ye ho yenwina adwene pa mfa nipa ye no mo ete ho no ebra wo dwena adwene pa no it replenishes your brain, it refreshes you yourself ema unya hoden time bia obi abehu no na osresre enye sika se dem di kan no sika cannot do anything for you. But when when your mental health is at stake, now you're going through several problems, several challenges. So we sika dime makura untimi fanya share. Last week yenya patient be a police for edene buy na omdene buy no he was very psychotic or buy no kura about almost $2,000. Okache se sika ne nyane de ayamfa. And so no one bottom on the use canema yo was a sika ne nyane de ye pese ye bia obi amfa de opese but on the okana se muntimi first kana de but se nipa no se na dwene if the person is sane na dwene bibi ekoso ye mana there is no way so obeka cho se sika no fa esan say ye sika. So mental health is very very important to everybody. Bro, mental health be okay, your mental health is very intact no. Unya sika, it is an added bonus for you. And untimisramu and yanum, let us think positively for ourselves. Let us think positively for your kind of saying young for and as the people around us. It helps a lot. It helps you yourself. Will relieve somebody, no, it relieves you of all your stresses and then yama and it helps you to get out of depression and untimisra moma no so there are personality traits being so away mu a most of the time na ekokofa mental illness at the brain you will nipa no bi honoma they have a paranoid personality one of the time bia no e na say obi kan ho asem there are people that are there e bi okura utwa mu a say nipa we o kan ho asem they or most of the time no omo nwene I said you see no sometimes I say people are following them will be can wansem will be church and wansem yen crofo cassetiano. These personality traits are there your friend a paranoid personality. When you have this personality we have other personality like schizotypical or more say people that have schizophrenia bibie no no ma on ne ka they think say you kind saying there's nothing wrong with them or bi on ma ya na focus why tintin tinti the obeka bia nipa no fa enye yibia those people no they have a very high chance of developing schizophrenia any bipolar and other schizoaffective disorders and untimisramu so wo hono ma ebia wo hu nipa bi time bia no they keep saying say there's nothing wrong with them. There was this woman last week or buy my share no buy no or say for the last 2 years no the biano she thinks that people are following her and so I feel well catcher said there's nothing wrong with her but she thinks that people are really following her and Crawford dinechi as and Crawford trim baby as and Crawford can wasn't meanwhile nobody is talking about her nobody nipasano gradually she's developing a mental health problem and until say one no obedi sa eyi n'akyi saa wobɛhu ana sɛ wanya mental health breakdown wanya stress biara de ka nneɛma na ɔkɔ mu no ho a the person gets mental health mental breakdown and then the next thing you know they have psychosis and schizophrenia na afei no aba bɛyɛ chronic illness a ɛde ba no so sɛ wohu saa nneɛma no nyinaa ɛwɔ obi ho anaasɛ wankasa no you think most of the time so obi ka ho asɛm asɛ nipa bi didi w'akyi people are following you meanwhile abɛtwɛ ani no nobody is following you it is a bigger sign I trust that you are developing a mental health issue hwɛ ne di ho nkɔmmɔ anaasɛ di ho dwuma yɛwɔ nipa bi ɔnom a the cluster B people a mesusu ana yɛsɛ yɛka sɛ obi yɛ anti-so a yɛsɛ nipa wei deɛ ɔmpɛ nipa ɔyɛ anti-social ɔntaa mpɛ nipa mu kɔ ɔntaa nkɔ nipa mu ɛno nti no ɔyɛ very anti-social there are people that are there like that na we mu saa anti-social na meka ho asɛm ne deɛ ɔno no they don't care about the behavior a ɔyɛ the way their behavior affects people they really don't care asɛm na ɔbɛka say be show say be your day and fan ho sometimes they do it to get what they want so obey ne be pray nipa be they really don't care and then we have the narcissistic personality. Or no, they think they are self-righteous. At the pebiano or momo free ho, the problem is you. They are always okay. When you have people like that, they are self-righteous. That is the right thing. It is a big problem. And nipa korɔ no wɔkeka mental health issues no ho no and nti ebia nipa no might need therapy and I say might need to be talked to ebi ɔno sometimes sɛ ɔboa now ne kasa ebia ne nipa korɔ no ohui and I say it's something that is developing obetumi aboa no those people no and in the long run they end up getting mental health issues yɛwɔ nipa bi ɔnom so a ɔmo suro so ɔmo bɛkɔ nipa mu ɔmo duru baabi a nipa wɔ a they don't want to be there. They don't want to talk. You're genuinely a nipa bia for the first time. Okwa de with nipa mua na asa we yam sheshe. That's normal. That is very normal. So we go through it. But persistently, baby obeko bia nipa baby nipa ubia no na usro. You always want to be indoors because a nipa ohonoma you are developing a very big problem. I know so na wase ohwe ho asemka. And these are the personality traits a nipa binom go through the before I be no. Na esan say personality traits na awo honoma ache no ano then they start developing mental health issues. Mr. Ramon so hu obi a otesa momaye moa omo tesa ni nyina. I think sometimes people go through abuse. There are several people that have been abused. They live in abusive homes. Then it starts affecting people, kinds of mental health, and they go through a lot at home because I work for a time no more the problems I'm going to share three stuff with nneɛma bi a nipa mmiɛnsa bi kɔɔ mu a because of marriage any home adeɛ a ayɛ wɔn ɛno nti mesrɛ mo sɛ ɔbaa ne bɛrima mu wɔ fie please be careful. Do not leave your child with anybody because ɛnɛ nipa tiri mu ɔden obi a wodwene sɛ obetumi aboa wei deɛ me nua anaasɛ me wɔfa ase anaasɛ me bibia no megya me ba ma no a ɛnyɛ hwee no wobɛhu ano na wasɛ wo ba no future. Let us all be careful. Nipa yɛde yɛ magya wɔ mo ɛsiane sɛ akwadaa so wɔnyini na sɛ wo abuse no a it affect them throughout their whole life. Nti mesrɛ mo ma yɛ nyinaa no yɛnhyɛ no nso madamfo baako or go through these things, and then in she's 30 something years or that's to go through therapy. It's answer or say a near you can say any stepfather had any firm any trauma or any firm it was a lot. And notice or kaya time biano she get anxieties, she has been depressed for a very long time. I am gonna draw also our therapy all the time, all because she was abused in her childhood. And until Miss Ramwa and Yanuma Yeshemua, do not trust people like that. It's say nipa nye, nipa trimode, nipa trimosum, and kase we the enen kwasori intino, nyande so bitimi aye bibia. Be very careful with the way nipa ma o ma ho hia ma obi a ne tifie no ma no ho hia unu obi kasa eya hwe yie eya hwe sometimes asem bitimi free wonum aba no it can kill somebody for a very long time. A bitimi hurt nipa no for a very long time, 15-20 years. Ebi onum a wo de unam oba bi a wokɔ de odwen say asem na kan no is nothing. But nipa kro na dwena asem no ho enya problems, enya mental health issues. So please let us be careful the way we treat people, the way we talk to people. But say nipa bebre go through a lot. People are going through a lot of violence. People have gone through civil wars and then they've gotten PTSD. Say trigger kakra bi a or debia no sorepe na aso peso odwane esanse niema ohunu wani nani so no. It is a lot. All these people, you will know any therapy or they can go through to be okay. And until your sometimes nipa say no said bear. These stressful life situations, trauma and abuse and nipa go through no. enkonkofa mental health issues emfa emrom no obi tia please treat them right so the wo pese wo treat wo ho right no ade a wo pese wo de beye wo ho no mesrew memfa nye obi sanse mental health issues no this is how it starts developing akola bi wo ho no sometimes you say your man bi wo ho no mo free when they go they don't want to come back because there is nothing to come back to it's as a near me ekoso wo fie no it is a lot and until they don't want to see it anymore ɛno nti moma yɛma fie nya nikan fa ma yɛ ma no said they will not develop mental health issues to Mr. Mo a moma yɛnhyɛ no so afei nso lack of social support asɔre a yɛkɔ no can be a social cycle ahoba a obetumi anya obi ne na di nkɔmmɔ benya obi ɛne na kasa by social isolation ɛyɛ ade a obi wɔ hɔnom na sɛ obi wɔ hɔnom a oni obiara wɔ ne life mu obiara ne hɔnom ɔbɛn no a when they are going through stuff obetumi ne na adwene ho ɛno nti no when they break down really bad ɛsan sɛ obiara ne hɔnom a wɔne na adwene n'asɛm ho anaasɛ ɔka n'asɛm ɛde akyerɛ no ɛno nti mesrɛ mo wɔ hɔnom a woyɛ ɔbaa warefo a fa wo kunu adamfo woyɛ ɔbɛrima warefo a fa wo yere adamfo ɛne ne nhyɛ biribiara the more you share the more you say you can say when you problem shared is half solved and into wopɛ sɛ wo problem no wo solve no yie a obi bia ɔbɛn ho biara no at least obiara no should have one very best friend that or Ginny di obetimi na share bibi woyɛ warefo a your best friend should be your other partner and then share wo nneɛma nyinaa so you can be all right mentally and ntimi sra mo moma nyinaa nhyɛ no so substance use nso yɛ adeɛ kɛse a nipa bebree fa so nya mental health breakdown quite recently yɛnya abranteɛ bi na ɔse ɔnom biribi ada na yɛde ne ba hospital no he was very violent or kontokwa sese niema and you want a panion or die at their chin and obebusa say what am I doing here so what do you mean no I'm saying no mubusan yebusan senti enra de see nyina no wa hu say no you can't be or senya no correct and I say on na namfofo ni pie and they were smoking something and young people or makajen say he should also smoke it he just smoked it one time obetena ho su saa kan o se opeso one ne papa kasa ye frɛ ne papa ma no obusa ne papa sɛ asɛm na ye kana ye nokore na om se aye nokore ono ena eye saa ne ma ni nyina obu nkotodwe patch say he never knew so obetimi aye saa he never even knew so saa hoɔden na obetimi de aye saa ne ma no the substance use is very very dangerous to our health and niema ene enipa bebree smoking no they are laced with so many stuff obi onom a crofobin nom omo nom we no omo de niema bi to say fentanyl crack cocaine e dey afra weed no and to say onom a it is so strong it can get you psychosis right away nipa bebree onom obi onom a one time no try no afei no wanya yare a oda hospital attend bia no e wo se yede ne to aduro so mama nye very careful what we are consuming in our bodies esanse nyame se ye nipadua no na sorry dan be ye careful enema a wo de fra wo nipadua no esanse so wan hwe yi a saa niema we num no na kofa mental health issues adeba enka bia ye no ma ye Christopher ekrampo de kani se ye bodin ewo ye mu but the research I'm going to show you on Friday no I'm a man who said we need to talk about it a lot because nipa bebree or yasori mu a omu use substances a lot of people are doing it and they need help sometimes they don't see it they think it's nothing but in the long run no and a more mental health problems and ultimately asafoma muma nyina yen hye no so muma yen hwe yen bra yie muma yen hwe yen ho so yie so the bear nneɛma bebree hɔ nom a yɛn nkɔnkɔyɛ yɛn nkɔnkɔfa mental health problems ɛmfa ma yɛn ho saa mental health challenges yi nyinaa no the causative factors ɛde saa nneɛma yi ba nyinaa no nyame adom ne anigyesɛm a ɛwɔ mu ne sɛ yɛwɔ nnuro wɔ hɔnom a ebitumi asa saa yare no nyinaa we have therapy say if you are not due for medication and say ɛho hia sɛ yɛde woto aduro so a we have several therapies a ebitumi help change your behavioral patterns ebitumi aboa wo ama nsa ne nneɛma bi a wɔnom no bɛboa mo gya ni nyinaa yɛ ama wɔtumi ama wo ho atɔ there's several support nso wɔ hɔnom a yɛnkasa yɛbɛtumi ayɛ ayade ho hia daily bia no said no amekae no oma yɛntimi nyire yɛ ho na yɛ nna yie afei moma yɛ nidi yie do exercises a lot afei find your own social support find obi a you can rely on them you can obetumi aboa wo akwanuasa nyinaa so sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a you're going to be okay ɛberɛ a yɛbɛyɛ saa nneɛma no nyinaa no we might be prone to mental health issues deɛ nanso awurade bɛbɔ yɛn nyinaa ho ban there are several stuff me and you we can do to prevent ourselves from going through mental health challenges mental health challenges now it's breaking a lot and nipa bebree are going through mental health issues still through after covid no it is getting worse and it's getting very bad and yɛwɔ nneɛma bebree wɔ hɔnom ebitumi ayɛ ɛde aboa yɛn ho ɛde asiesie yɛn ho ɛtumi de atwe yɛn ho ɛde afiri all these problems no moma yɛn nyinaa yɛnyere yɛn ho na yɛnyɛ na ɛbɛboa me ne wo mmienu ama yɛatumi anyini akyɛ ɛbɛboa yɛn your mental health is all you got oh say ubetumi aye adwuma pe sika nyinaa but if your mental health is not all right sika ni nyinaa mfa nyɛ hwee sɛ na meka no sɛ obi ɔbaa yɛ almost $2,000 hyɛ no bottom ɔsɛ nyɛ ne dea oh you might be able to ebia betumi ayɛ ho ayɛ adwuma nya sika nyinaa afei beduru baabi no wobɛka sɛ sika no nyinaa no ɛnyɛ ɔde anaasɛ sika no nyinaa no womfa nyɛ hwee moma yɛ nyinaa no yɛmmoaboa yɛn ho na ɛbɛtumi ɛbɛboa yɛn ɛbɛsi yɛn yie we will be okay abra yɛbɛtumi aboaboa yɛn ho na yɛbɛhu sɛdeɛ ɛnɛ ɛfiri na akuro no yɛn nyinaa yɛhu kwan a yɛfa so yɛnya mental health issues no mesrɛ mo moma yɛmmɔ yɛadwene yɛ brain titiriw no moma yɛmmɔ yɛ brain ho ban ɛduru baabi na ɛwɔ sɛ ɔda mesrɛ ɔda ɛduru baabi na ɛwɔ sɛ deɛ ɔsɛ ɔyɛ biara no nsɛm bi wɔ hɔnom a ɛbu fa wo kɔn so a pɛpɛnimu bi asɔre mpanimfoɔ bebree wɔ hɔnom a ɔmo ano odu wode w'asɛm kɔ n'anim a ɛnyɛ ade sɛ ɔbɛka kyerɛ obiara ɔno bɛka ɔbɛboa wo ɛbɛboa ma watumi relieve you yourself from all your mental health challenges na menhyira yɛ nyinaa nnwummerɛ yi ɛwɔ n'adom ti amen
Amen.
Amen.
God bless
Amen.
you.
Amen.
Amen.
Asɔre krakyɛ nyame nhyira wo bebree ɛwɔ program a wayɛ no anwummerɛ yi ama yɛn abusuafoɔ sesei baabi yɛaduru no yɛ questions and answers so wobɛtumi apagya wo nsa anaasɛ wobɛtumi atwerɛ no chat no mu na mɛredi mpakyɛ first hand a mɛho yɛ Dennis Kofoɔ mpakyɛ wobɛtumi akɔ
Yo, Eve, that's it. Opinion Franklin so said that's a prayer and memory. When you have your presentation, I mean, sure. My question is in here too. So, wait me about me. And I will show a presentation. I say no. All the research be by, and I will watch them say, and if you mama young who say, Sikan to me and solve, and I say, emboa mental health, which is adwemu yare. Sana okay, minim say, sana na o patch say bia wo sika bebre a intimi mmoa sɛ saa na wo pa kyerɛ ɛwɔ research na wo
research na say sika ɛmma anigyeɛ
oh ɛma energy okay good
and material things does not make you happy
okay it doesn't make you happy and yɛnyina yɛnim sɛ w'ani nkye a na sɛ wowɔ awerɛhoɔ mu nso so a ɛyɛ contribution anaasɛ contributing factor when it comes to mental challenges
yeah.
Right it's me question is say nti research no timi ma the other hand no sɛ ahokyerɛ ne adwendwen no so ɛkwan bɛyɛ so na contribute to your mental challenges no and I said research no ntimi uncover biribi saa because
so,
material things no mboa yɛ deɛ a ahokyerɛ no so ne adwendwen no what does it do ɛno nso so contribute nti ɛyɛ fa na yɛ draw line no
okay so baabi a draw line ne sɛ sika bebrebe a wobɛpɛ no it does not guarantee you happiness your happiness lies in your mental health once you have a good mental health w'anigyeɛ ebitumi awie pɛyɛ sika ne ahonyade a wobɛnya no is an added bonus ebitumi ama ani agye but the fact say wo sika ne ahonyadeɛ no it does not guarantee you happiness meaning deɛ sɛ wote ase a but say you kind of saying if you have a very good mental health or mental health you have a sound mind we okay will be BM honoma how it's not me kind of say when you're very anxious we are very anxious and now you're very depressed you really do not care about the money whatever money you have because you're very a very depressed. A very depressed person. Sometimes a be 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks no and he doesn't even know class because idea they you kind of say the hormonal level na ebe man ani age no they don't have it until bibia ni hono ma nani nyi bibia ho nani nye you kind of say niema ekoso on the environment bia ho no nani nye they really do not care about sika omo it's answer at that point no sika no ntime emmoa no mfa no nye hwe and until when you have a very good sound mind, when all your chemical imbalances are balancing, it gives you more happiness than say ubenya sikano. Sikano is an added bonus, but it does not guarantee you happiness. Sana mpesa miche minims what ya siya.
Yo, open me that's it. My comment, my last question or so. And you may what can say be when it comes to young people are take substance back up na LED a trigger enema bebre e wa adwin yare no ye hu say e cost bebre especially schools mo both high schools and the colleges mo no happening and your young people first Ghana. My question here, as an expert, what are some of the phrases I able to me Owusu ye hu bibi sa ne ani obi edi enkoma and then I say ye twe ye hu free ho assemble na say ye twe ye no free ho a any kwan say ye be ka kra e be sen and ade be na wo make attempt to say person oni onipa kro e kasa the right professional phrase I will be to me Owusu say be ya unko sen no kra maybe that's it.
One thing about Obia Owusu enema, you always have to be blunt with them. You have to be very blunt. Adena oye no wunyai what sharing the consequences enema oye ni nyina enema Owusu. Most of the people think say marijuana is nothing, it's just weed. It's not just weed. Nyame adoma Friday make sure the composition of marijuana and enema and for de afrafra and until the ambassador what ase nyina say some of them you need to be blunt with them. Do not sugarcoat and can't channel you kind of saying no you have to be blunt with them. Abrante who said way you're smoking. There is no way says smoking now smoking is going to help you. These are the consequences of your actions. These are baby lead you to Mr. Jai. It is not going to be easy. So because we'll be jai. Seek professional help. It's going to help. Oh, say I know this person. I can recommend that person to you. It's me I recommend them I can recommend this person to you. Obitimi aboa I find therapy at the amount. Now nipa no I find therapy and then they become okay. When it comes to substance use, and there is part of your brain, and when you keep using, it is so hard to stop. Your brain becomes adjusted to it. Nyame adoma Friday, we will talk about it. And until it is so hard to stop. So when you're a professional helper, and until say, you need to be blunt with them. Don't sugarcoat it. Because you're going to lose the person. So, catch anywhere, now catch consequences anywhere. Shano kwan obefa so obenyamwa. So buano sa kwan so it is going to help very much. Now buoni pakrono agene free sa o ha no wo mu. So we na sa the person will sit up right. Na why ho bibi na etimi aboa no me da se.
Thank you, Brother Dennis, and thank you, Franklin. The Pacho Zoom user.
And me Pacho me does it pee so mama kwenya way. Frank, it doesn't to pee, Franklin. Now, I'm sorry, sir, as a health professional, maybe it's a question. Can mental illness be caused by spiritual aspects? Spiritually, can somebody get mental illness?
No.
Okay, I have an example. Tell me, it's a question. There's there's a particular house in the near me. Now that particular house, there was a history of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Gold. Somebody left his gold in the care of somebody and call baby by the patrono we are gold. But in that particular house, anybody who gets money and I say, "What me? Any sika you should say from that gold, the patrono get mental illness, like schizophrenia and other things. So it is well known. I will be any. Enti kwala bi ho no my catch say hwe na fie no wan kwan kodi nti obi ho yi ni ba fifi ho ti papa yi ni fifi ho said the be na onkodi seska ni bi. The money was in the house, but obi obi na say we stop can seska ni bi no na wabodam.
Okay.
So it's a proof say spiritually from the gold no and ama ya de na ba omuso. But obi a when use seska ni bi no so wa modam.
Okay. There is a clear distinction. There are spiritual stuff that are there. Obi any obetumi refute say nneema no. Say obetumi offend obi na nipa kro no aye na dwen say ebi odo obekọ ba bia mo etumi anya bibi, but according to nneema yesua ni nyina no, spiritual matters don't come in anywhere when it comes to mental illness. Nneema yesua nyina no say there is a chemical imbalance in your brain that really causes mental illness. Now, ebra obinya stress, several stresses that is where you really get the mental health problems. And according to science, dear, you bet me I say no. But according to other principles, which make I say beer, curses are there are spiritual stuff that are there. I will be anyone who bit me refute to those spiritual stuff on there. A bit me a happen there. But according to science, you kind of say spiritual stuff that does not come in when you're talking about mental health.
Okay, thank you, Auntie Constance. Me pacho Evangelist Godfred J.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm going to get asked. My son is a nice one. Pull up on Sister Constance again. Within the say Ghana, there, doctors know. It will be a hacker say, who are the doctor? I can see. To where any will be now. I saw a few any other. The first will be no law. Your diseases be high, teeny, and turning into mental illness because to say I deal with born on my firm one a big Saudi we buy na some incidents in bank and the two entry you to say box and then your name to be a uncle for no to me the report mental illness at the end of their career. It's high so meaning the name of baby in a bit not to what will be a accident to be no and a master name away. There were so many incidents the SEC I might be known into me my own normal senses. I also so no say be say be a good be a eating and maybe bit me a clean and yet drugs and be a but gives be out to say nay Christo ni be a bit me the punch in the Bama. So be a bank, how would you have to see the Muka Kramadas?
Okay, so Obekaya, may causes of mental illness, may TBI, traumatic brain injury. Say obi ono man said all kind unya accident a bit me amano etimi enya mental health problem. Even HIV. HIV we have HIV induced psychosis. Honum obi honum HIV, you can get you can say mental health problem. And no so when you get to that stage in 6 months will be anunti there ni nyinaa hɔ there are other you can say medical conditions wɔ hɔnom a nipa no bebree wɔ hɔnom obi wɔ hɔnom koraa sometimes mpanimfoɔ a wɔwɔ mu ɔmo wɔ yɛ mu ɔmo tumi nya UTI kɛkɛ can put them in psychosis ɛbrɛ a wobɛnya UTI ba wobɛsa UTI na wobɛyi UTI na free hɔnom no then they become okay ɛno nti most of the time no sɛ nkurɔfoɔ ba na so ɔmo yare a anaasɛ obi ba wɔnya or psychosis or the person have no mental health history, the first thing you do and so obey labs. Oh, no one say, does it have any correlation? Sometimes you do you kind of say brain scan to make sure say it has nothing to do with a physical illness. Na a be onoma a sadia no a be onum crampo or be onoma no develop thyroid issues. Those thyroid issues most of the time no and no ankasa no ememeke ye kind sign those physical illness no ememeke mental illness and into one hwe ya obeka say when your mental health problem na so ebra obehu na obehu say oh ade no say thyroid na nipa kro no enya no ode ne beto thyroid adro so no na afi ne ho ato no eno nti yes your physical illness be bre ho no ma ememeke mental health issues eno nti no say before I be diagnose you be with mental health problems no and you see 15 year we do a whole bunch of stuff aside say you can say you know be kasa na be hu de ekoso no there are labs and then there are other scans you yen so you man who say you be hu ba bia yare ni free ba na say nya mental illness yetimi asa e de free ho enu ntimpa show sanity. The second one I know busa about sometimes doctors say to me kase yare we de enye hospital yare actually I don't know baby aya na nkrofo etakeka kasa mat me say de what tibi no sa na me so ya na matiti bebre but say the medical kind no according to science mental health problems are caused by first no na in the stone age na people didn't know baby a mental health is free no and na you gonna say a spiritual but according to science no mental health is caused by chemical imbalances in our brain and our things no stresses ne other forces and as other physical problems it be a lack of sleep and a mental health issues it's possible say be a obi bitimi aka actual sometimes yetimi ka say obi on my ya na ya boni dua duabo mu no ntimi nkonkofa emma science mu emma ne nye yie nti when you're going through the symptoms and then as for ebi on my say okọ be also okwa you're going to be okay. That is not what we are talking about here. The air can say mental health is really science. Now science according to science based and mental health is caused by you kind of saying chemical imbalances as well as other environmental factors and a cocofani and so edeba and that's it.
All right, thank you so much, Evangelist Godfred. Pacho, penny or Kobwa Jesse, obetimi edo question number. Okay, Pacho, we're free line or something. MHB. Also betimi edo question number.
Yes, that's Michael.
Okay.
Penny Franklin, I make sure that's it for your time presentation at the mind. You say wait me I check about you define mental illness different categories the spectrum say be a schizoaffective bipolar and then you can wait me I check me tweak kakra bi ama yehu a say na be ya bi aka say obi o schizophrenia ema me beti ase say ni suban say na tie obi o bipolar say na o depict ni ehun say na tie na ni aka in a short enye tintin me that's it.
Yo, me that say actually me yes a slide na em's time or call into man can want some psychiatric problems yeah categorizing about 4 or 5 times. Yeah, we have mood disorders you know nneɛma bi a affect your mood ebi on my munya major depressive disorder time bia no as an era ho as a osun odi areho pii no ne friend depression afei bipolar for no sometimes yeah crown your hon my na can say ni nyina ye mood disorders nipa we dey bipolar people when they have their up and downs when they are very manic in their manic stage no and find also okura $100,000 obetimi adisika ni nyina within 2 hours obetimi achesika no e de amankrofo they cannot sit still they do so many impulsive stuff or more bipolar disorders no and I think so during the depressive stage in the bipolar system no depressive stage no obetumi adampa mu be 2 weeks on sorry nko baby aduane kora no wan hwe ya onni bi nti those are the mood disorders no we have premenstrual dysphoric disorder a man be hono a bra obenya menses 1 week to their menses no sometimes they behave so oddly be hono abekọ no what no osu obebusa no say de na eto no wonim they don't really know what is going on na obesu saa bi onom so a then bi o n'ani agye or no ankasa no kura bo nim de ntia na ni age at that stage in their life na bra when they are about to menstruate no ayana bi honoma there is too much hormones that are released. Sometimes there is too little hormones that are released and not etimi fat sayare ne ba fe your anxiety related disorders or more honoma or na ye ma hyew ase niema bi koso ewo wedie mu your friend anxiety disorders ebi onom so your panic disorders wo dru ba bi nipa bibire wo abekọ na emfifire ti no saa osuro opeso free honum your social anxiety so ho ya man no presentation ebi o school presentation ebi okra sorry so megina sorry nanim enye bibi the person will not be able to do it because of social anxiety nipa bebre honum with social anxiety no sometimes it's normal but if it persist say de bia obigina sorry nanim na say you're going through anxieties there for a period of between 3 to 6 months then there is an issue will say bia wohwɛ ho asɛm ka maybe you need to go on therapy afei ɛno firi hɔ nom a afei na ne yɛba bɛkɔ psychotic disorders deɛ yɛfrɛ no sɛ nipa wei deɛ wabɔ more schizophrenia, they have schizophrenia, we have schizoaffective disorders, we have schizophreniform disorders, we have delusional disorders, or mono you kind of saying they have very poor perception, they really do not know what is going on in their system. Most of the time they always think that they are right or more they are hearing voices and be kasachrom so sometimes it tells them go kill yourself, go kill this person. It keeps talking to them several times obi so onoma no ohuna de bi onoma ono to ono no aka cho say ne nana wo hu se ne nana wewu ete ha no ma wo hwe no ne nana ne din komo bi onoma no when they keep seeing all those things, that is pure schizophrenia. They need help. They have positive and negative symptoms. Negative symptoms, you kind of say, they have no interest in anything that is going on in their environment. And they make us be and fan the obey be a jare, a driane, be no fan. They become catatonic or bit me at Tnafako, Upigan inside the Kosra, a bit me or 5 hours, and in San Osro. Because that is what the brain is interpreting. Those people, most of the time, or more, and they are very dangerous people. No, they need help. You see people going through those stages. You need to help them right away. So these are the categories of psychotic and psychiatric problems. Nipa bebre ekom first, no, na ya categorize na psychosis and neurosis. So say there's any neurosis, no, a lesser form of psychiatric problems. Those people are more anxiety, depression, any those disorders, no, or mono na ne categorizing as by say no, yen categorizing aside beam. I no mood disorders, anxiety related disorders, psychotic disorders related to you kind of say that affect young people and as young children. Ni nyinaa nso ɛwɔ hɔnom a ɛte saa nti mpakyɛw saa na ɛsi categories no saa na ɛsi
Okay. Boss, yeah, that's it. Me pacho opinion ko ba Jesse. Mo betimi akasa. Pacho we are Dennis. Also betimi akọ na makọ chat nim. I know there's some questions in the chat also.
Yo, that's it. The secretary that's it. Said na omi na oh boy issues, especially relating to mental health. Na ade baako a me pese me pointing my nyina na yɛboa society no. And say ye modern say ye behu what is normal from unnormal. What is unusual from usual. Say when we yiri ana wukunu etifia, study him or study her to know that this is normal, this is not normal. Sana sorry mu yema, we have to study what is normal from unnormal. Because no immediately prodromal stage or catchment area no you betimi catching in term na yetimi aboa ye nuanum a mental issues. Ye mu bebre sometimes we look at our children but we study them very well. Ye mu bebre ye kunum ye study them very well to know them. Ye mu bebre ye study ye yirinum to know them. Now at the moment you study the person, oh me kunu deɛ sɛ yɛa na ɔteɛ ɛno nti sɛ when something goes wrong pɛ na ɔtumi akakye ne ntɛm. So it's very essential mental health workers no we pay much attention to this. Never boy your community in society. That's it.
Thank you so
That's
much,
it.
Shroud.
Penny, that's it. Dennis, and Pacho, my question and Konafi, we hands questions near chatting him.
Yo, if me da se bebree. Opa yi Mr. We dey me dey to elder dear no so. Mr. Ahobrase mu boa me. Ebia me na me nya mu entiase na eboa me ne cheche mu ma me hu say mental challenges no and young people nko na affect wo mu ana because your title say ye program bi say ya ye ma me for no de bia wo pese targeting young people for young adults, young youth no nko a as a mpanyinfo deɛ ɔmo nyɛ part of it nti as an expert no any researcher wɔyɛ no ɛyɛ young people for nkwa na go through these challenges anaasɛ mpanyinfo ka ho ɛyɛ fa na esi mepatwɛ educate yɛ anaasɛ educate me.
Thank you. A very important question. Punctual mental illness can affect anybody. Anybody. It doesn't matter your age. Even young people and penning for 50, 60, 70. It does not matter where you are at your age. You can have mental health challenges. And ma nka say bi adesua na yesua no yesua de ama young people be baby. Mental illness can affect you, it can affect me. Oh, the here and say be a family predisposition. Sometimes it just take one issue. You have one biggest you can say stressor in your life, then it triggers your mental health. So then now me catch him no mami bako. Oh, she didn't know so or schizophrenia, bipolar, but a bra ye in a different adwuma. That is what triggers everything. Ye in a di or dwene ho kwan obefa so anya adwuma no. The minute she was thinking about that, the next minute she knew ɔte hɔ no ɔseresere no watena fam no wahyɛ ase ɛworɔworɔ ne ho she has to be admitted. Oh, and then the person ended up getting a kind of saying mental health issue, or no, she wasn't a young person. I tried over 20 something years, or call 50s mu, and a baby I tried over 20 something years, ye unity, and or share the pension and the near man, bono. Look at this stress. She just developed psychosis right away. And until and ya dear said, you kind of saying, oh, better now because say, oh, at the swing you swing the amount young people be, oh, baby, we are learning for all of us, including me. You know, I can't home one stressor away, you might find yourself in a mental health problem. And until Mr. Remo, said your penny Dennis Wabusana, it is very important, Mr. Remo. And now when I say you swing at the swing the amount will be. Yes, you are doing so the amount. Sometimes it will just take one collapse of a marriage. Our say back up it will crash down your whole life. And I'm going to share with you some stuff. Our reform and idea our idea or life. They got mental health issues, mental health problems. They develop psychosis just because of marriage. They were okay. One of them was a banker, senior executive banker. Now, when you mental health issue, most of the time she's admitted in the hospital. So it's a lot that goes on in the human brain. It's a lot of things that can trigger you to go through mental health issues. And until na Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Franklin. Yeah, for chatting him, no. I think so. The first chat, no, is a youth. When I read the message, I'll say thank you for nice program. But my suggestion is that this topic, I think the topic brought up is good. That's what she meant. But mostly for our young people growing up, I think they are not on the line. I think this should be a topic for youth downstairs when they are downstairs. Most of them come to church on Saturdays, and now we're growing up and we are more exposed to many things. So I think we should do more of this to help the youth on Saturdays. So I think we'll just defer this to the youth department. Now, omunya time, no me have a friend, Opinion Franklin, no, I so bit me a program, no, where there's more youth. Another thing is to say, Pennyphone also say about line, so we have to groom our kids to come on the line with us. We can't keep making the excuse that they're not gonna come online. It's almost 9. If they're not doing their homework, they should be on the line with you, or they should have done their homework and be on the line with you, vice versa. And we'll take that suggestion and take it in good faith, and maybe the youth department can work on it and connect with secretary na yɛahwɛ sɛ ayɛ for the youth na. Second one, I think so one answer. Can you get mental illness from your parents?
Yep. And I make kind of say genetically, no, you can. It's not 100% say once a beer. Umami and now papa was schizophrenia and I said depressive disorder. No, you have a very high chance but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. You might get it, you may not. It depends sometimes on the stresses around you. If you're able to manage your stresses very well, sometimes most people are mental illness. You know, usually a college. A lot of college people break down mentally because a bomb also school at the they become so overwhelmed before you know they have mental health breakdown. But most of the time, no, when you have major stresses going on in your life, that's when to me managing here you can really get into it. And yes, so parents or mental illness, genetically it is there. You have between 25 to 50% chance it will be there, but it does not mean say by all means will be. That's it.
Okay, thank you. For the next one, no, thank you for your presentations, much needed education. Also, you mentioned reaching out to those in our family that may be addicted to drugs in order to reach them and get them help prior to for them to get any mental health challenges. Also, is there a point where the said person may reach in their drug addiction that you as a family member can no longer help them? That's the first question. What can we do to help this person when they have been directed to therapy or rehab, but they have left and gone back to the streets for the drugs? That's the second. And how do we keep our family safe and protected from this behavior of drug addiction? That's the third question.
Drug addiction is a very huge problem. It's a very, very huge problem for the young people, particularly the young people, because research actually say most of the drug addicts and now more use drugs now, young people. So there is a part in your brain. So if you keep using drugs, your brain becomes okay with it. And when you don't have it, the brain keeps telling you to go get it. There are several people that has gone through it. They have relapsed. You kind of saying, free baby or all because they want to go get high again. There are several people that comes to us, admit no, and then the person will fight every means so the bear obetumi appear the person. Usually we have patch sɛ wɔ hɔnom a ebi a nicotine patch, other patch ebitumi aboa no ama nipa korɔ no, it will reduce their cravings. Saa craving more nipa korɔ no tumrika so ɔbɛkɔ akɔyɛ you know. That is why most of the time no, we have addiction centers sɛ wɔ hɔnom no. Sɛ nipa korɔ no tumi kɔ na otumi follow through the program most of the time it helps them a lot. There was one guy Okoware ne yiri free Thailand Edenebai. The lady was a nurse and also she never knew say ni kunu no use drugs na obay ne near she was crying and busan said they say I left my job, I left my high paying job to come here for marriage. Bibi drew hanum no every single day. Bema menene to accuse me say I'm cheating on him. Meanwhile, menene tifie me nkoba bia me krompo me ba krompo me ntimi nya adwuma enti time bia no me wo fie. But the person keep abusing drugs. My bia makache no say the next time will be use no me jan ho akọ. And so ada me kan so ada no kra no use no more. It is not easy no then buy say one. This particular person you are sending a rehab several times. Obeko sometimes or to me could be 3 months. No, Obeba he looks so okay for 1 year. I feel one time. They are doing the same thing, and according to the brain research, I say will be use drugs now will use for 1 year or start here, they can get to the same level or as if say nipa krono enyida. They can relapse a lot, but there are a lot of them. So we have medications be it helps them. They don't go through those relapse stages. No, nipa bebre more methadone. So they go for methadone or more use opioids. No, they go through methadone clinics. More methadone. They be use most of the time it helps reduce their cravings, and ade. Say obi when somebody na make can say when somebody is using drugs, you always have to be blunt with them. In the hospitals and then in the clinics, sometimes you come, they make you sign a contract. So I deal with say when you show you remove them who drugs 1, 2, 3, they get you out of the program because catch you say when you're serious. It helps people to focus, it helps people to do what they have to do instead of a bit me a boy. I don't think it is not easy, but you need to keep trying. Most of the time, they will run away into you kind of say the streets to go do the same thing several times over and over again. Don't lose hope. Keep getting them help. A brother banana. There is one day, one particular day. Obekwa onko saa nneɛma no ho bio. It is not easy, but with the help of God, with the help, so we go through those stuff now. So wogyaa no a, ɛne nipa korɔ no wie ya no. Don't leave them alone. Kɔsoa boa no. Sometimes it becomes one kasa ne duru baabi a no wabrɛ na ɔra ho. I say you have done all you can, but please don't lose hope. There is one day the person will get it. Be a or maybe there are several you can say stories. On Friday, I'm going to share with you guys. There are several people that kept relapsing, but one day they got it. Ometimi, and then they have families, they've gone through it for over 20, 25 years, they've never gone back. Or they go through their programs and they are there, they are okay. And if you know anybody like that, please don't lose hope on them. Don't leave them. It's say they need your support. And no any boy that's it.
Okay, Pastor, I got 3 minutes, not about 9:05. So we're gonna try to rush through 2 questions. I'll say, is cognitive decline the same as mental illness, Franklin?
Cognitive decline, a part of mental illness. Actually, it can be considered say a kind of saying physical illness, and I say most of the time no omo dementia no neurocognitive decline omo dementia ne Alzheimer's no omo and you classify omo in those stages. And until na make say some people might have a very high risk of developing dementia or Alzheimer's. But so you who a kind idea, you who is the brain redevelop itself. Sometimes you might not get it. Sometimes it will push it all the way to the back. And until yes, sometimes a brain will develop dementia and Alzheimer's. You know, there are symptoms be on. It looks like you get psychotic features. A drew baby or they don't remember anybody. They become very aggressive towards people. It is part of your kind of and the cause of hormone illness. And until yes, neurocognitive decline is dementia and Alzheimer's. So it can be considered as when they get to that stage, as most of the time, you just help them so the you kind of say until they die. And sanity neurocognitive design no Alzheimer's need dementia. Sana and also that's it.
Thank you. And the last question is menopause a contributory factor of mental illness? I'm not sure what the question means, but is menopause a contributing factor of mental illness?
There are several people that develop mental problems when they hit menopause. It is not a contributory factor of getting mental illness, but usually, it has to do with a decline of your hormones, your hormonal level. It's say hormonal levels na echo form into no. Sometimes you get through mental health challenges, you become very depressed. Sometimes you become very anxious, all because say you kind of say hormonal level no echo form no. It is not really a causative factor out the mental illness, but it can be an associated factor. It's say hormonal level form no. It's me, Emma, no, yes, sir.
Thank you so